Alright, so here we go. It's been a while since I've had a video, but this is my 96 Bronco. I bought it just about a year ago for Christmas for myself. I've already done a 4-inch lift. Took out the back half of the truck, I guess you could say. Cleaned it all, added the sound deadening, blah blah, a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, most recently I added these fog lights on here. They're 7-inch. I'll put a link for them down there in the description. Really stoked with how they came out. I'll probably never use them. I'm here in Tampa, Florida. Not a lot of fog, not a lot of snow. Definitely not any mountains. But I don't know if it's a great video. It really wasn't a how-to. It was really just kind of what I'm doing. And I definitely don't know what I'm doing, so maybe if you want something like this, you could easily do it, you know? If you have some tips or anything for somebody else that might be doing it, go ahead and drop those in the comments. Let me know what you think. But yeah, they look awesome. And LEDs, super bright. I still need to adjust them because they are kind of pointing a little high. But a couple things that were difficult was really measuring things, because nothing is square on the truck, so everything's kind of got a curve to it. So trying to figure out things on an even plane, it was a little difficult. But all in all, really wasn't even too bad. I'm not an electrician at all, so wiring everything up was definitely new to me, but again, pretty simple. So anyway, check out the video. Please let me know what you think, and I don't know, maybe I'll walk you around and show you the 4-inch lift. Okay, so this is not necessarily going to be a how-to, just how I'm doing it, and I don't know, I've never done anything like this, but I'm going with 7-inch fog lights. I've got 4 of them. I'm still mocking everything up. I think if I remember right, I'm doing them 4 inches apart, and I'm going to set them 1 inch away from whatever you want to call that. So I've just got tape here so I can write on it, and I'll be drilling through it. I'm obviously going to have to remove the bumper to do that, but pretty stoked to give this a shot and see how it looks. I dig fog lights, so we'll see what happens. All right, not sure how well that line is showing up, but all I did is I measured 1 inch away from here, made a bunch of tick marks, and then connected it. It's not straight, so you can't draw a straight line. It's got a little curve to it. And now what I'll do is I'll put the brackets on here. Let me show you. So I'll put the brackets on here, and from the lights, they're going to be 4 inches apart, I think. But it's a 7-inch light, so I'll do a little math there and kind of figure out where they are so I can mark where I'm going to have to drill. But first, I got to find the center, so then I can measure everything off of that. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what came in the boxes. I ordered two sets of 2, I guess. So obviously you've got your wires. You get 2 brackets. You can see I've already taken them apart. But, obviously a light, and you actually have a couple different options. You can do amber, and it just pops off wherever the lip is. I think it's right here. You can just pop that off. It can be clear. You can have tint, and then it comes with 2 packs of bolts in each box. So that's everything you got. And I'll try and put a link down there if anybody's interested. All right, so again, I'm just kind of walking you through my thought process, and I've never done this before, but maybe this will help somebody else out. So your grill has a slight curve to it, not too much. Now this first line is following that curve exactly 1 inch away around the entire bumper. And this mark right here is where my bracket would be. Now this other mark that you see is, I guess you could say, squared up. There's no curve to it. So I measured here, it's the exact same difference from here to here. The distance rather is exactly the same. So now I have to consider, do I want the brackets to follow the curve, or do I want them squared up with being on a straight line? And the difference is so insignificant. I know a lot of you probably are like, God, this guy's a freaking nut job, but maybe I am, I don't know. So I'm probably going to mock it up a couple different ways. Now I will say, if I follow this curve, I can't have the bracket squared up with that line. I'm going to have to shift it, so to speak, so that the light is shooting straight forward and not off to the side. So just something to consider. Okay, so what I decided on was following a straight line, so all the brackets are lined up. I've got the holes marked out. Everything is perfectly measured. Even the brackets, even just taping them up. Exact spacing across there. Like I said, you could go either way you want. This is what I'm going for. So I'm going to get the bumper off. I'm not going to show you how that goes. I'm sure it's just a handful of bolts. And I'll be back. Okay, so it looks like it's these two bolts on each side. And that should do it. I've got some missing. Maybe I'll try and replace those. Probably clean this up and put some paint on it just to prevent any more rust. But looks pretty easy. I'm probably gonna just spray some PB Blaster on there and get it going. All right, so I've got all 4 holes drilled. I used my center punch, and then I used a smaller bit to get it started, and then worked my way up to a larger bit. All right, so I think the hard part is over. Really measuring, deciding where you want to be against the grill or how far out, whatever, however you want to word that. I think that was the hardest part, but I definitely got it in the middle. I'm fairly happy with the spacing, and I mean, it might be a millimeter off, but I'm really stoked with how it's coming out. Now I got to spend some hours on YouTube University, figure out some electrical, and next thing will be wiring. Okay, so from underneath the truck, passenger side is over here. I went ahead and loosened the bumper again, just to give me a little bit of space to get the wires. I fed them around and then looped them around. I don't even know if you can see this, but just kind of giving you an update of where I've got the wires so far. And I've got it looped over the frame rail. I don't know what that's called, but the battery is on the passenger side, and I think it will be easier to lengthen the positive and negative cable that I need to hook up for power than it will be to lengthen the switch, unless I can find power on the driver's side, which I'm sure I can figure that out. But I just wanted to kind of show you, and this is not how it's going to be finished. I'm just getting everything laid out. All right, so I'm just going to walk you through what I did, and I guess I'll start over here. So my wires came up over here just because I needed the switches to go through the firewall, and my negative and positive would not reach all the way across to the battery. So I got a distribution block, fuse block, not a fuse block, bus block, they're called different things, but I got this. It did come with a negative as well, but for my grounds, I just screwed them into the side here. And these are the relays, I think. They come with extra fuses right down in here. You can see where the fuse is. There's 2 of them. So I've got everything ran. I have not gotten a loom yet that's big enough to put everything together, but I do have it zip tied and out of the way. Even if I don't get that loom, I'm pretty happy with the layout here. And I've already got my amp running in here, but nonetheless, I ran that power. I realize it's not red, but I ran that power all the way around, did some shrink wrap, hooked it up. Everything works awesome. And these lights are, I mean, insanely bright, which I'm sure everybody knows LEDs are really bright. But let me walk you around. Now, I didn't do the amp, but as you can see, they ran the amp wire actually through the steering column, whatever that would be. So I'm getting ready to tear out the interior, and I'll rerun that through my hole that I drew there. Now, this is just temporary. I drilled it and put the wires through there just so I could get it home. But I am going to pull those back out, and I've got a rubber grommet. I got a step bit. I'll drill that out and run those through a rubber grommet so they don't rub against anything. So I'll get that taken care of. But let me show you what the kit actually came with. And so here are the switches. And actually right here is there's nothing back here. It's really easy to access. So I'm going to put them both right here. I've got one switch that runs the amber and one switch that's going to run the clear. Now, if you look on these switches, you can see there's little clips here. Now, possibly what I could do is drill a hole here. Obviously, I would have to disconnect it, but push it in those might clip on that. I'm not 100% sure. Stuff like this that I've dealt with, you always kind of had it's like little barrels or whatever they might be called. I don't really know. But you can see that there. It kind of would pinch into the dash right there. So I would use my step bit and drill a hole big enough to slide that in, and this screws on the back. I like that a little bit more, so that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to just make an assumption that these are going to fit what I have. If not, I'll just have to use what came in the kit. But I bought these separate. All right, here we go. Perfectly lined up. I don't know, not a lot to measure off of to make sure they're squared up, but my knee's going to be there. It doesn't really matter. I'm really excited with how they came out. Already tested everything. I've got all the wires tucked up underneath. So I've got my amber. Like I said, they're on separate circuits, I guess you could say, because they come in sets of 2. So there's the amber. And the other one's the clear. There you go. I don't know how well that's coming out, but those things are bright, as I'm sure you can imagine with LEDs. But there's the grommet that I put in. I'm gonna check it every once in a while because it did seem like as I was pushing the wires through, it would kind of cave in a little bit. But I think now that I've got everything set, it should be all right. But that's about it. Hope you all like it. Let me know what you think. So just a quick little video for you so I can kind of show you everything. Everything is nice and painted. Drop brackets for the sway bar. Brackets. New leaf springs. Obviously new shocks. Again, everything painted. Came around here, cleaned this up. Painted. Pretty much painted everything. But real happy with how it came out.